So good morning, everyone, and thanks for being here today. My name is Brad Miyake, and I'm the city manager for the city of Bellevue. And today I'm really excited to announce that I've promoted Wendell Shirley, over to my right, to serve as Bellevue's next chief of police. Just by way of background, Chief Shirley joined the department in 2021 after a nationwide search where we were recruiting an assistant police chief. And over the past 6 months, since he's been serving in this interim role, I had the opportunity to observe and assess and evaluate Wendell Shirley. And what I've observed overall is, one, he is a bridge builder. He's, since Chief Shirley arrived in Bellevue, he's reached out and engaged the community on policing issues such as use of force, as well as identifying new and effective ways in responding to individuals with behavioral health and non-criminal issues by way of the department's Community Crisis Assistance Team, also known as our CCAT pilot program. He's also been involved in neighborhood issues and crime, and he's been leaning heavily into that. He's also brought great ideas to advance and support the department, such as the use of real-time police data to fight crime. And lastly, he's not only well respected by the men and women in the police department, but he's also admired by the city's leadership team, which is largely the department directors as well as the city council members, for his intellect, his strategic thinking skills, and also, his wicked sense of humor. So in finalizing my decision, I kept coming back to three major points. One, I firmly believe he can continue to keep our neighborhoods safe. Second, he will provide officers the tools they need to be successful in their jobs. And third, Chief Shirley will continue building and creating stronger community relationships. And in summary, what I want to say is he has demonstrated strong leadership skills and dedication to the city as well as the department, and has my full confidence that he'll successfully lead the city and the department into the future. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Shirley.
Thank you, Brad. Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. First off, I'd like to give out a few special thank yous, if I may. First to my partner, Priscilla, my son, Bryce, for the encouragement to get back into law enforcement, feeling like I still had a lot to offer, especially during the times we had in 2020 with some of the social justice issues surrounding policing. To the city manager, Brad Miyake. I know, Brad, we talked, and I know this is one of the most important decisions a city manager can make. And so to have the faith in me to lead this department means a lot. You have been very, very supportive, and I think no chief could ask for anything more. I am fully aware of the duties and responsibilities that I've taken on, and I promise you, you'll get my best every single day. So thank you, sir. To the city council and city leadership team, thank you for your support, and I am privileged to become a part of this city's team. To the women and men of the Bellevue Police Department, officers and civilian staff, it is an honor to work alongside you. You are some of the most dedicated and passionate public safety personnel in terms of keeping this community safe. And my pledge to you is to do what any great leader would do, and that is to put you in the best position to succeed. To the wonderful Bellevue community, and to those that I have met along the way who have been very, very supportive, I am honored to be called your police chief, and you have my word. I will continue to listen and engage this community and focus on what's important to you in the true spirit of community policing, in terms of keeping this community safe for those that live, work, and visit the city of Bellevue. Lastly, my vision. My vision is for the Bellevue Police Department to provide the highest quality of law enforcement services to everyone that lives here and visits here. And we will do that by building on community partnerships. And that's exactly what our community is demanding. I will be focusing on three main areas. First area is crime reduction and quality of life issues. under a three-prong approach I call the PIE approach, PIE, prevention, intervention, and enforcement. And I think you have to have those three prongs in order to tackle some of the issues that we're facing today. Number two, community engagement. Our community is demanding it, and we're going to deliver. We will be engaged in our community like never before, as we are currently doing now. And lastly, to continue to hire the best men and women for the Bellevue Police Department. Also, retain the good men and women that we have in this police department. And so again, I am very thankful and honored for this opportunity. Thank you.
With that, I'm going to go ahead and swear in the chief right now. So we could step over here, Chief. So if you could repeat after me, I state your name.
Wendell Shirley,
Having been duly appointed
having been duly appointed
to the position of Police Chief for the Bellevue Police Department,
to the position of Police Chief for the Bellevue Police Department,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
perform the duties of my office
perform the duties of my office
as prescribed by law and to the best of my ability,
as prescribed by law and to the best of my ability,
and that I will support and maintain
and that I will support and maintain
the ordinances of the City of Bellevue
the ordinances of the City of Bellevue
and the laws and Constitution of the State of Washington
and the laws and Constitution of the State of Washington
and of the United States of America.
and of the United States of America.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Chief. Okay, with that, I guess we are open to questions. Chief Shirley.
Thank you.
You guys have any questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, one question here. Chief.
Yes,
One, congratulations, of course.
thank you.
Secondly, obviously, you've been here for at least 6 months now, and you touched on it a little bit in your speech, but once more, what do you plan on doing moving forward now that you actually have the title of chief, not the interim?
Right. Well, I've been the interim for 6 months. Is this mic working? I've been the interim for 6 months. And so with the men and women that you see standing to my left, we've already continued the work, right, in terms of providing public safety, dealing with crime reduction, the fear of crime, quality of life issues, engaging our community, working closely with them and engaging them to understand what they're looking for as well. So the work doesn't start today. The work already begun. And quite frankly, I started here March 8th of 2021 as the assistant chief, and the work began there. So we will continue the work now that I have the permanent position.
What was it that pulled you out of retirement? They'd say you were done and you could watch the sunset and not. What was it that really, that's
Yeah.
a big decision.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And the answer for me is based on some of the things that were happening in 2020, the social justice issues, the policing challenges that were being discussed across the nation, I really felt like I had more to give to the profession. I knew it was a good profession, right? But I also knew community members really wanted a change and something different. And I just felt like I had a lot to offer. My philosophy in terms of being a bridge builder, community engagement, and helping not to defend, but explain what law enforcement does and why. And so I felt like I had a lot to give. And Bellevue, a great opportunity came to me, and I'm lucky to be here. So that's kind of what drew me back into the profession.
And really
Yes, sir.
quick to Chief Shirley, tell me this too, especially as a person of color, as a black man, what do you think that's going to do for this community, especially as their police chief, with representation,
Right.
inclusiveness, diversity,
Right.
a common theme throughout a lot of industries, but
You're right.
especially when it comes to law enforcement.
Good question. That's certainly been a topic of discussion. And I will say this. I understand the significance of me being assigned to this position as an African-American person. I get that. And hopefully that will inspire others to see that this young boy from Watts, California, raised by grandparents, could rise to the level of a chief of police. And so it will be an inspiring story. But it also is an example of the city of Bellevue in terms of their commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion.
One more question here too. Just quick, we've had some viewers reach out to us just about some of the smaller crimes that have happened, but it's been a common theme.
Sure.
Apparently, larceny and small break-ins, things of that matter. What are your thoughts on that? And as you take over, what are your plans to address, those crimes? Obviously, they're not as, grand as some of those other ones in Seattle.
Right.
Still an issue.
Absolutely. And you're spot on. The county is actually experiencing an increase in property crime, and Bellevue is no different. And so what we have been doing is being laser focused based on criminal analysis and data, and making sure we're putting our officers in those hotspot locations, if you will, right, to combat what's going on. We also are developing a few other strategies that I won't publicly announce, right, but we certainly are laser focused on this issue of property crime, and catalytic converter being one of them. All right, and we'll be having a press conference next week on that, and an operation that we put together, task force, and so to combat that stuff. So Bellevue is not immune, but you can rest assured that we're laser focused on this particular issue.
Do you have any ideas on recruitment? I know police forces all across the state have seen numbers dwindle and have offered certain things. Or is that on the table, or is that, what do you guys think?
It is. Bellevue does offer some incentives for people who want to get into law enforcement. But I think, and you raise a good point, right now some people don't think law enforcement is the best profession to get into. Obviously, I beg to differ. And so for us here, we are fortunate in Bellevue to have a very good reputation. Our officers are paid well, trained well, and we select the best people we can. And we enjoy a high level of community support. And so the key for us is to tell our story, right? Tell our story. What is the benefit of becoming a Bellevue police officer, but also going to where people are. Going to them and telling our story, as opposed to waiting for them to come to us. And I can honestly say we're in a far better position than a lot of other agencies in terms of vacancies. We're doing pretty well.
Exactly, just touching on that. Any idea staffing levels right now? I know Seattle keeps on saying that they're down hundreds of officers.
Right.
What are we doing here in Bellevue? What's our staffing levels looking like, and what would you like to see, especially as the new chief, as you lead these men and women?
Right. Well, we have single-digit vacancies, so we're doing pretty well. And our hiring team is working diligently, because that's one of our highest priorities, is to make sure, and not to just get anybody to become a police officer, but they have to be a fit for our city. And so I'm happy to say, though, we're doing very well in that area.
And again, any idea, ballpark-wise, on how many officers you have already?
Well, sure. Well, we're budgeted for 185, right? And so we have roughly maybe 3 or 4 vacancies right now. Okay. Is that it? Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.